Hello, host Eric here, host of Talking to Thursday. We'll be getting part 2 of our Enneagram breakdown. I didn't know that's what we were doing until after I stopped the last video, but now I realize that's what we're clearly doing, is part 2. So, what number were we on? 6. Now we're on 6.
We're on 6. Yeah, they're focused on what is the perceived threat in their environment and what is the perceived security. So they're vigilant in the regard that they're going to walk into a room and say, okay, what's the thing that's going to make me scared, and where's the thing that I can do that'll make me feel less scared? So that could be like people, so they find the people that they could talk to that they feel comfortable with, or it could be the thing they could do, like go over to the kitchen and like just hang out there, whatever. So they're just constantly focused on that.
It's my mom. That's my mom.
A lot of people are 6s, I think. I think it's like the most common, just because, for human survival, like if you kind of think of it intuitively, it's kind of good to have a bunch of people who are 6s that can all band together out of their fears of insecurity and form like a giant group of 6s,
A giant group of 6s. Oh no! Watch out! There's a giant group of 6s. They're coming over here with their safety protocols.
5-6 sounds a lot like introverted sensing.
Yeah, I read that too. I guess that makes sense because it's like the introvert sensing's whole thing is what are the rituals and traditions and people that I'm familiar with that I can stick to.
Okay, so I understand 6 well. I don't like their safety protocols, but I would like to have one as a wife. It would be nice. It'd be very helpful. A 6-2, something like that. That'd be great.
Well, it's interesting because I don't know if you know this, but there's actually 2 types of 6s. There's the phobic and counterphobic. And so here's the good analogy that I read was like if you're like walking on the road and all of a sudden a tiger jumps out at you, the phobic 6 is going to immediately run to the nearest tree and climb up it and then just hide the entire night until it's over. And the counterphobic 6 is going to be equally afraid, but they're going to go try to like murder the tiger before it can kill them. So like counterphobic 6s actually look like 8s because like if they're scared of something, they're just going to attack it. Like if they find someone intimidating, they're going to go up to the person and test them. Like Eminem was a counterphobic 6.
Really? But Eminem is clearly an ENTP. Do you agree with that?
He's an ISTP.
You think he's INTP?
No, he's an ISTP counterphobic 6, I think.
Wait, so ISTP wants to claim him, ENTP wants to claim him, and you said what else? INTP?
Yeah, he's definitely not an ENTP. I'll tell you that much.
He's obviously an ENTP. He's definitely an NTP. No. He's obviously an NTP.
Just read his lyrics.
He's
just
obviously
heavy SE.
He's. Listen, you're not understanding. The reason he's clearly ENTP is because of his relationship with his SI.
No, dude. Look here. Look, his wife. Okay, he had that wife. He had this wife. Yeah, that was FE. Just like off the rails, just like needy as shit.
That's third slot. That's fucking straight up ENTP behavior.
No, right dude.
Oh, totally it is.
That's inferior FE just taking control of his brain.
No, inferior FE looks like INTPs who are cold and pull out of shit.
Yeah, well, INTPs look cold, and then if they find someone they're attracted to, they're just boned.
Look. They pull out of shit. They're smart at the end of the day. At the end of the day, FE doesn't matter that much to him. The only type that's crazy enough to get Kim tattooed on his fucking self after he broke up with her and he gets back with her again
is a guy with inferior FE.
Is a fucking ENTP.
Why would inferior SI have anything to do with that?
Also, why is he so awkward in his interviews too? An ENTP wouldn't be that awkward.
Well, I think it's a set of. Look at as far as that goes. I don't know how awkward he is. I've only seen a couple of interviews with him. He's pretty not into giving much interviews. But I think the reason for that is because, and I understand that would seem counter to the idea that he's an ENTP, right? But the other thing is, what I see in him is a desperate need to prove himself at all times.
Yeah, that's the counterphobic 6. That's the
And
counterphobic 6 right there.
and additionally, I mean, okay, well, you call it that, but regardless, I'm not talking about Enneagram. I'm talking about 4-letter type. That correlates to me a lot stronger with the ENTP than anything else, especially given his verbal skills and his natural ear for the rhythms of the language. All that stuff says ENTP to me. His freestyling, his improvisational skills, it all says ENTP.
All right, I think there's nothing I could possibly say to convince you, but I still believe that he is an ISTP counterphobic 6.
Do you think he has strong extroverted intuition?
No.
No.
He uses extroverted sensing, not extroverted intuition.
I disagree with you guys, but that doesn't mean I'm right. So,
Well, we can talk about the Enneagram part. The counterphobic 6, sexual counterphobic 6s, their whole thing is looking tough for their perceived one-on-one partner, whatever. They want to look tough, even if deep down they're really scared, because they don't want to be seen as scared, because then that would make them appear vulnerable to perceived threats. So you see that on Eminem. A lot of his lyrics are like,
all right,
yeah,
well,
I'm
hold
gonna go
on.
home and punch a bitch, you know?
Well, I mean, but a lot of them are quite openly vulnerable.
Yeah, that's true. A lot about Kim, right?
Well, a lot about a lot of shit. It's openly it vacillates between aggrandized self-behavior, aggrandized position on oneself. The reason it seems SE and it's full of all this sort of reference is because he was steeped in the nomenclature of hip-hop, right?
Look, dude, I don't want to argue this ISTP NTP thing, because we are both so sure of our own opinions that, like, you're gonna find information to back it up. So we should stick to Enneagram.
Okay, fine. Go on to 7.
So I'm gonna try to get this right, man. I'm saying your type, but 7s, a lot of what they think about is the next best thing, the next best fun thing that they could be doing at the moment. So if they're doing something, they're not necessarily thinking of what they're doing right now. They're thinking of the next thing they're going to do right after that. And so a lot of that has to do with planning for the next thing.
Unless what they're doing is pretty immersive. Unless what they're doing is flow oriented. In which case they won't really be thinking ahead. They'll be thinking about that thing that they're doing. They're trying to seek those kind of experiences where they lose themselves in the experience, and they're not.
Yeah, and the thing is that. Yeah, the thing is that a lot of times, as soon as they get into that flow, and right before it runs out, they move on to the next thing, so that it never feels like the flow's ending. You know, they don't want to feel that. They don't want to feel that end, that boredom. You know.
Right. Totally. Spot on the money. All right. How about 8? You're gonna distinguish it from your magical Super 6. It looks just like an 8, huh? Let's hear it.
Yeah, they're constantly standing on who's in control in any situation. If they're not in control, what they can do to get in control. And if they're in control, what it looks like could possibly undermine their control of the situation. So I actually went out last night, and there was an 8 like hanging out with us. And so he was the guy controlling the music, like what we were listening to. He was the guy telling us, okay, now we're going to go to this other person's house. Now we're going to go do this thing. Whatever. Point is, he was the guy directing us to do the stuff that he wanted to do.
You got me wondering. That's for sure. I seem to resonate more with 6, the 6 you described, than with 8, personally. I don't know. I can be directive, I guess, in some circumstances. I generally do want to do what I want to do, I guess. But, I mean, who doesn't? I don't feel necessarily the need to be in control of every situation.
Well, I mean, I still am up in the air whether or not tri-types are even useful, because at the end of the day, you experience every single type to certain degrees. So why would tri-type mean anything? You know?
Well, I think it would indicate that you're in a certain period of your life you're prioritizing these particular expressions of the mind, body, heart possibilities, right? At least that
Yeah.
would be the idea behind it. And to me, I think it's relevant to note that the distinction you made there between the six, whatever you said it was, what do you call it, six?
Counter. There's phobic, which submit to their fears, and they're counterphobic, which try to
Attack
defy
them.
their fears.
Yeah, I identify more with that counterphobic six, I think, in general than with an eight, because I don't necessarily feel the need to control every situation. I'm very laissez-faire in lots of regards. I don't need to feel the need to direct or control other people as a general rule. But if somebody is trying to control me, then game on, you know?
Yeah, well, that could be an 8 not wanting to be controlled. That could be a 6 fearing that the authority that's controlling them is going to basically fuck with them, because they're afraid of authority just messing with. They don't think authority is on their side, and yet they feel the need to be supported by it.
It's a fine distinction there. I don't know. Now I'm leaning back towards 8 again. It's hard to say. Regardless,
That's the thing. That's the hard part about tri-types. It's like, well, you know, it's just hard to define which one, especially the last of the 3, is you.
Okay, so we did 8, and now we're on to number 9, the last number of them all. Because there are only 9. There's not 10. That's right. We keep it in single digits here in Enneagram. So tell us about type number 9, Overlord.
Let's see. I'm having a hard time remembering.
The Peacemaker, I believe they're called.
Yeah. What is their focus of attention on?
Isn't it maintaining like peace?
Yeah. Well, it was like. It's something like that. I mean, you're right. So it's maintaining peace, and that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone getting along. That means that they have their inner peace. So even when things are totally, fine, if they're sad in their job or they don't feel like doing something, they're going to do whatever they can to maintain that inner peace, which involves either like repressing or tuning out anything that could cause their inner peace harm, or just avoiding the situation.
Well, I mean, I think I recognize a lot of that in myself as well, in terms of avoiding thinking about SI shit, avoiding thinking about little shit I gotta do and stuff like that. I hate shit. I hate thinking about it. I'll just make more episodes of talking to famous people.
Well, 7s do that too, but for different reasons. 7s, they're looking for having fun, and those things aren't fun.
They're totally not fun. That's the problem.
Yeah. Whereas 9s, it's not really the point if it's fun or not. The point is it's causing them emotional turmoil, and they don't want that.
They'd be more likely to deal with it then than just ignore it.
They'd be more likely to just ignore that it even exists.
Oh. Well, that won't do them any good. I've tried that. It doesn't work. Okay. Thanks for watching Talking to Famous People. That's our review of the 9 Enneagram types. And thanks to Basement Overlord for his wise informations. And to Hami for his contribution as well. And thanks to you, viewer at home, for your eyeballs.